the secret code to navigating every major decision you'll ever face. Picture this. A young person stands at a crossroads in the darkness, torn between two voices calling from opposite ends of the street. One promises pleasure, shortcuts, and instant gratification. The other offers something that sounds harder, but leads somewhere extraordinary. This exact scene plays out in Proverbs, and it's playing out in your life right now. For centuries, people have treated Proverbs like a collection of random wise sayings, fortune cookie wisdom from an ancient king. But what if it's actually a carefully constructed journey? What if Solomon designed it as a roadmap, guiding you from the foundation of wisdom through the contrasts of daily choices, into practical application, and finally to the crown of a life well lived? Today, you're going to experience Proverbs not as scattered advice, but as an epic story of transformation. You'll walk through its chapters as if discovering a hidden treasure map, where each lesson builds upon the last, revealing a complete system for living that's as relevant today as it was 3,000 years ago. This changes everything. The book opens with Solomon introducing himself. He's the son of David, king of Israel, and he explains why these words exist. In chapter 1, verses 2 through 6, he says these proverbs are to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. Even the wise can hear and increase in learning. But then comes verse 7, the foundation of everything. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Then something happens. A voice rises in the streets. Wisdom herself appears as a woman crying out in the city. In verses 20 and 21, she doesn't whisper. She crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words. Wisdom isn't hidden. She's shouting where everyone can hear. What does she say? Verses 22 and 23 record her words. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. She's offering everything freely, but there's a problem. People aren't listening. Verses 24 through 28 reveal what happens next. Because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh, when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. The window doesn't stay open forever. Why? Verse 29 explains, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. It's a choice. Verses 31 and 32 continue, therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But verse 33 offers hope. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. Chapter 2 shifts to a father speaking with his son. The tone becomes intimate. Verses 1 through 5 lay out a condition. My son, if thou wilt receive my words, and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom, and apply thine heart to understanding, yea, if thou criest after knowledge, and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver, and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God. Seek wisdom like silver, search for understanding like buried treasure. This isn't casual. Verses 6 through 9 explain the result. For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment, and preserveth the way of his saints. Then shalt thou understand righteousness, and judgment, and equity, yea, every good path. Verses 10 and 11 describe protection. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee. Then he shows what you're protected from. Verses 12 through 15 paint the picture, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things, who leave the paths of uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil, and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked, and they froward in their paths. Verses 16 through 19 warn about another danger, to deliver thee from the strange woman, which flattereth with her words, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. Chapter 3 continues. Verses 1 and 2 plead, My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Then comes verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Verses 11 and 12 address correction. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. Then verses 13 through 18 describe wisdom's value. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is everyone that retaineth her. Chapter 4 opens with the father sharing his own story. Verses 3 and 4 remember, For I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother. He taught me also and said unto me, Let thine heart retain my words, keep my commandments, and live. Wisdom passes through generations. Verses 5 through 7 deliver the message, Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting get understanding. Wisdom is the principal thing. Verses 10 through 13 continue, Hear, O my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of thy life shall be many. I have taught thee in the way of wisdom. I have led thee in right paths. When thou goest, thy steps shall not be straitened, and when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble. Take fast hold of instruction, let her not go, keep her, for she is thy life. Verses 14 through 17 warn about evil. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness, and drink the wine of violence. Verses 18 and 19 show the contrast. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. One path gets brighter, the other stays dark. Verses 23 through 27 give instructions. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Put away from thee a froward mouth, and perverse lips put far from thee. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. Chapter 9 brings the image together. Verse 1 declares, Wisdom hath builded her house, she hath hewn out her 7 pillars. Verses 2 and 3 continue, She hath killed her beasts, she hath mingled her wine, she hath also furnished her table, she hath sent forth her maidens, she crieth upon the highest places of the city. Everything is prepared. Verses 4 through 6 extend the invitation, Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, Come eat of my bread, and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. Chapter 6 introduces the sluggard. Verses 6 through 11 describe him. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways, and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall thy poverty come, as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. Always wanting more rest. But poverty doesn't wait. Verses 12 through 15 describe someone wicked. A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, he teacheth with his fingers. Frowardness is in his heart, he deviseth mischief continually. He soweth discord. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. Verses 16 through 19 list what God hates. These 6 things doth the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him, a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, and heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. Chapter 5 opens with warning. Verses 1 through 3 say, My son, attend unto my wisdom, and bow thine ear to my understanding, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as an honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. Her words sound sweet. Verses 4 and 5 reveal reality. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. Verses 7 and 8 instruct, Hear me now, therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh the door of her house. Verses 9 through 14 explain the cost. Lest thou give thine honor unto others, and thy years unto the cruel, lest strangers be filled with thy wealth, and thy labors be in the house of a stranger. And thou mourn at the last, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed, and say, How have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof? And have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined mine ear to them that instructed me. I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation and assembly. Chapter 7 tells a story. Verses 6 through 9 set the scene. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths, a young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner. And he went the way to her house, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. Verses 10 through 12 describe her. And, behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot, and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. Verses 13 through 20 show her strategy. So she caught him, and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves. For the goodman is not at home. He is gone a long journey. He hath taken a bag of money with him, and will come home at the day appointed. Verses 21 through 23 reveal the result. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. He goeth after her straightway, as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver. As a bird hasteth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Chapter 8 brings wisdom's voice back. Verses 1 through 3 describe her calling. Doth not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of high places, by the way, in the places of the paths. She crieth at the gates, at the entry of the city, at the coming in at the doors. Verses 12 through 14 reveal her nature. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way and the froward mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength, then comes the revelation. Verses 22 through 31 take us to creation. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree, that the waters should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth, then I was by him, as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth. And my delights were with the sons of men. Wisdom existed before creation. She was with God when he made everything. Verses 35 and 36 conclude, For whoso findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of the Lord. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. Chapter 9 presents two invitations. Verses 1 through 6 show wisdom's feast. Wisdom hath builded her house. She hath hewn out her 7 pillars. She hath killed her beasts. She hath mingled her wine. She hath also furnished her table. She hath sent forth her maidens. She crieth upon the highest places of the city. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, Come eat of my bread, and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. Verse 10 repeats the foundation. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Then another voice calls. Verses 13 through 15 introduce her. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple, and knoweth nothing. For she sitteth at the door of her house, on a seat in the high places of the city, to call passengers who go right on their ways. Verses 16 and 17 show her message. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. And as for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, Stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Verse 18 reveals the truth. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. Chapter 1 showed the consequence of refusal. Verses 26 through 28 warned, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. When distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. The window closes. When disaster strikes, they'll cry out, but wisdom won't respond. Why? Verse 29 explains, For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Lord. It was their choice. They heard the call, but rejected it. Verses 30 and 31 continue, They would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. They'll taste the result of their decisions. Verse 32 states it plainly, "For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. Even success becomes poison for fools." Chapter 5 illustrated this. Verses 12 and 13 captured the final moment. "And say, How have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof, and have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined mine ear to them that instructed me." He sees the truth too late. Chapter 6, verse 15 showed another end. "Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy." No warning, just sudden destruction. Chapter 7, verses 22 and 23 painted it clearly. "He goeth after her straightway, as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hasteth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. He walks toward death without knowing, until it's over." The foundation has been laid. The choice is presented. Chapter 10 begins a new section. These aren't long teachings anymore. They're short, sharp contrasts. Verse 2 cuts straight to the point. "Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death." You can pile up wealth through wrong means, but it won't save you when death comes. Righteousness does what money can't. Verse 15 shows the double edge of wealth. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. Wealth creates security. Poverty creates vulnerability. But verse 16 reveals what matters more. "The labor of the righteous tendeth to life, the fruit of the wicked to sin." What you do with what you have determines where it leads. Verse 22 delivers one of the most powerful statements in all of Proverbs. "The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it." Real wealth comes from God's blessing. And when it does, there's no pain attached. No guilt, no sleepless nights. No relationships destroyed in the process. Chapter 11 continues the contrast. Verse 4 repeats the theme. "Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death." When judgment comes, money becomes worthless. Only righteousness matters. Verse 18 shows the difference in how wealth comes. "The wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward." Wickedness might produce results, but they're built on lies. Righteousness produces something certain. Verse 28 warns about trusting the wrong thing. "He that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch." Trust in money, and you'll collapse. Trust in righteousness, and you'll grow like a living tree. Chapter 13, verse 7 reveals an interesting paradox. "There is that maketh himself rich, yet hath nothing. There is that maketh himself poor, yet hath great riches." Some people look wealthy but own nothing real. Others appear poor but possess everything that matters. Verse 11 exposes how wealth disappears. "Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase." Quick money vanishes quickly. Money earned through honest work stays and grows. Chapter 15, verse 6 shows what fills different houses. "In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble." The righteous have treasure. The wicked have income, but they also have constant trouble. Verse 16 gives us perspective. "Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith." A little bit with God beats mountains of wealth with anxiety. Verse 17 continues the pattern. "Better is a dinner of herbs where love is, than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. A simple meal with love surpasses a feast filled with hate." Chapter 10, verse 11 introduces the mouth's power. "The mouth of a righteous man is a well of life, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked." Righteous words give life like water from a well. Wicked words hide violence. Verse 13 shows where wisdom appears. "In the lips of him that hath understanding wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding." Understanding speaks through wise lips. Foolishness earns punishment. Verse 14 reveals what wise people do with words. Wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. The wise store knowledge. Fools talk themselves into trouble. Verse 19 warns about talking too much. In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. Talk a lot, and you'll sin. Keep quiet, and you're wise. Verse 20 describes the value of different words. The tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth. Righteous words are like pure silver. Wicked thoughts have no value. Verse 21 shows the impact. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. Good words feed others. Fools die because they lack wisdom. Verse 31 contrasts productive and destructive mouths. The mouth of the just bringeth forth wisdom, but the froward tongue shall be cut out. Justice speaks wisdom. Twisted talk gets cut off. Verse 32 shows understanding. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaketh frowardness. The righteous know what to say. The wicked twist everything. Chapter 12, verse 6 reveals words as weapons or defense. The words of the wicked are to lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright shall deliver them. Wicked words set traps. Upright words bring rescue. Verse 13 shows how speech creates traps. The wicked is snared by the transgression of his lips, but the just shall come out of trouble. Evil people trap themselves with their words. Good people escape trouble. Verse 18 gives a stark comparison. There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. Some words stab like a blade. Wise words heal. Verse 19 addresses truth versus lies. The lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Truth lasts forever. Lies disappear quickly. Chapter 13 verse 3 warns about guarding speech. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. Control your mouth. Save your life. Talk carelessly, face destruction. Chapter 14 verse 3 shows consequences. In the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them. Foolish talk brings punishment. Wise words bring protection. Chapter 15 opens with this truth in verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Gentle words calm anger. Harsh words create it. Verse 2 continues. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. Wisdom uses knowledge well. Foolishness just spills out. Verse 4 uses a powerful image. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. Healthy words give life. Twisted words break the spirit. Verse 7 shows what different mouths distribute. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so. Wise lips spread knowledge. Foolish hearts can't. Verse 23 reveals the joy of good words. A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season. How good is it? Right words at the right time create joy. Verse 28 contrasts careful and careless speech. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. The righteous think before speaking. The wicked just pour out evil. Chapter 11 verse 1 addresses dishonest business. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. God hates dishonest scales. He loves honest ones. Verse 20 reveals what God thinks about people's hearts. They that are of a froward heart are abomination to the Lord, but such as are upright in their way are his delight. Twisted hearts disgust God. Upright people delight. In verse 21 makes a promise. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Even if wicked people work together, they won't escape. But the righteous and their children will be saved. Chapter 12 verse 2 shows God's favor and condemnation. A good man obtaineth favor of the Lord, but a man of wicked devices will he condemn. Good people receive favor. Schemers receive judgment. Chapter 15, verse 3 reveals God's constant watch. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. God sees everything, everywhere, both evil and good. Verse 8 shows what God accepts and rejects in worship. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. Wicked people's offerings disgust God. Upright prayers delight him. Verse 9 continues the contrast. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness. God hates how the wicked live. He loves those who chase righteousness. Verse 11 shows nothing is hidden. Hell and destruction are before the Lord. How much more than the hearts of the children of men? If God sees into death itself, he certainly sees into human hearts. Verse 26 reveals God's perspective on thoughts. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant words. Evil thoughts disgust God. Pure words please him. Verse 29 shows who God hears. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he heareth the prayer of the righteous. God distances himself from the wicked, but he listens when the righteous pray. Chapter 11, verse 2 delivers a clear warning. When pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. Pride brings shame. Humility brings wisdom. Verse 12 describes the proud fool. He that is void of understanding despiseth his neighbor, but a man of understanding holdeth his peace. Fools look down on others. Wise people stay quiet. Chapter 13, verse 10 reveals pride's main product. Only by pride cometh contention, but with the well-advised is wisdom. Pride creates fights. Wisdom comes from taking advice. Chapter 14, verse 16 shows the difference in how people handle danger. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident. Wise people fear danger and avoid it. Fools rage with false confidence. Chapter 15, verse 25 shows God's response to pride. The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow. God tears down the proud. He protects the helpless. Verse 33 establishes the order. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Fear God, learn wisdom. Humility comes before honor. Chapter 10, verse 3 shows God's provision. The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. God won't let the righteous starve. He destroys what the wicked own. Verse 7 addresses legacy. The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot. People remember the righteous with blessing. The wicked are forgotten or cursed. Verse 9 contrasts security and fear. He that walketh uprightly walketh surely, but he that perverteth his ways shall be known. Walk straight, walk safely. Twist your path, get exposed. Verse 24 and 25 show different futures. The fear of the wicked it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. As the whirlwind passeth, so is the wicked no more. But the righteous is an everlasting foundation. What the wicked fear happens. What the righteous want is granted. Storms destroy the wicked. The righteous stand forever. Verse 28 describes different expectations. The hope of the righteous shall be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked shall perish. The righteous have hope that leads to joy. The wicked expect things that never come. Verse 30 gives permanence to the righteous. The righteous shall never be removed, but the wicked shall not inhabit the earth. The righteous stay. The wicked get removed. Chapter 11, verse 3 shows internal guidance. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Integrity guides. Corruption destroys. Verse 5 and 6 describe different paths. The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright shall deliver them, but transgressors shall be taken in their own naughtiness. Righteousness directs and delivers. Wickedness causes falls and captures. Verse 8 shows escape and replacement. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked cometh in his stead. The righteous escape trouble. The wicked walk right into it. Verse 19 gives the final outcomes. As righteousness tendeth to life, so he that pursueth evil pursueth it to his own death. Righteousness leads to life. Evil leads to death. Chapter 12, verse 3 addresses foundations. A man shall not be established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous shall not be moved. Wickedness can't establish anything lasting. Righteousness creates immovable roots. Verse 7 shows permanence. The wicked are overthrown and are not, but the house of the righteous shall stand. The wicked get knocked down and disappear. The righteous house stands. Verse 21 promises protection. There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. No evil will reach the just. The wicked get filled with trouble. Chapter 13, verse 6 shows protection through righteousness. Righteousness keepeth him that is upright in the way, but wickedness overthroweth the sinner. Righteousness protects. Wickedness destroys. Verse 9 contrasts light and darkness. The light of the righteous rejoiceth, but the lamp of the wicked shall be put out. The righteous shine with joy. The wicked go dark. Chapter 14, verse 11 shows what lasts. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. Wicked houses collapse. Upright homes thrive. Verse 32 reveals where refuge is found. The wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous hath hope in his death. Wickedness drives people away even in death, but the righteous have hope even when dying. Chapter 13, verse 24 addresses parental discipline directly. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. Refusing to discipline means hating your child. Loving your child means correcting them early. This isn't about anger or abuse. It's about love expressed through boundaries. Chapter 14, verse 26 shows what fear of God creates in families. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. When parents fear God, it creates security. Their children find safety. Subtopic 7, the economics of character, chapter 10, verse 4, establishes the basic principle. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. Lazy hands create poverty. Hardworking hands create wealth. Verse 5 shows timing matters. He that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causeth shame. Work when it's time to work. Sleep during harvest, and you shame your family. Chapter 12, verse 11 contrasts real work with fantasies. He that tilleth his land shall be satisfied with bread, but he that followeth vain persons is void of understanding. Work your land, have food. Chase empty people, have nothing. Verse 24 shows who rules and who serves. The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute. Hard workers become leaders. Lazy people become servants. Verse 27 reveals something about lazy people. The slothful man roasteth not that which he took in hunting, but the substance of a diligent man is precious. Lazy people don't even finish what they start. They catch something but won't cook it. Diligent people's possessions are valuable because they maintain them. Chapter 13, verse 4 describes the sluggard's frustration. The soul of the sluggard desireth, and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. Lazy people want things but never get them. Hard workers get more than enough. Verse 23 shows injustice in poverty. Much food is in the tillage of the poor, but there is that is destroyed for want of judgment. Poor people's land could produce plenty, but lack of wisdom destroys their chances. Chapter 14, verse 4 presents an economic choice. Where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increase is by the strength of the ox. No animals means no mess, but it also means no harvest. You need to invest in tools and accept the work they create. Verse 23 separates work from talk. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury. All work produces profit. All talk produces poverty. Chapter 11 verse 9 shows how words affect communities. An hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered. Hypocrites destroy people with words. Knowledge saves the just. Verse 13 addresses gossip. A tale-bearer revealeth secrets, but he that is of a faithful spirit concealeth the matter. Gossips expose secrets. Faithful people keep them. Chapter 12 verse 26 describes choosing friends. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. The righteous person provides better influence, but wicked ways seduce people away. Chapter 13 verse 20 warns about companions. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Walk with the wise, become wise. Hang out with fools, get destroyed. Chapter 14 verse 7 gives practical advice. Go from the presence of a foolish man, when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. When you realize someone has no knowledge, leave. Don't stay around them. Verse 20 reveals a harsh reality. The poor is hated even of his own neighbor, but the rich hath many friends. Poverty drives people away. Wealth attracts them. It's not right, but it's real. Verse 21 shows what's actually good. He that despiseth his neighbor sinneth, but he that hath mercy on the poor, happy is he. Looking down on others is sin. Showing mercy to the poor creates happiness. Chapter 15 verse 17 returns to the value of love over wealth in relationships. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is, than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. Simple food with love beats a feast with hate. Chapter 16 verse 10 establishes the king's authority. A divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth transgresseth not in judgment. The king speaks with divine authority. His judgments carry weight. Verse 12 shows what keeps a throne secure. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Kings who do evil disgust themselves. Only righteousness keeps a throne standing. Verse 13 reveals what kings value. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaketh right. Kings appreciate honest speech. They love people who tell the truth. Verse 14 warns about royal anger. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. A king's anger can kill. A wise person knows how to calm it. Verse 15 describes the king's favor. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. The king's smile means life. His favor is like rain that makes crops grow. Chapter 19 verse 12 compares the king's reactions. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is as dew upon the grass. His anger roars like a lion. His favor refreshes like morning dew. Chapter 20 verse 2 repeats the warning about provoking kings. The fear of a king is as the roaring of a lion. Whoso provoketh him to anger sinneth against his own soul. Making a king angry is suicide. Verse 8 shows how a king judges. A king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes. He looks at people and sees through evil. His gaze alone drives wickedness away. Verse 26 describes how a wise king handles evil people. A wise king scattereth the wicked, and bringeth the wheel over them. He separates evil people and crushes them. Verse 28 reveals what protects a king. Mercy and truth preserve the king, and his throne is upholden by mercy, not armies or gold. Mercy and truth keep him safe. Chapter 21 verse 1 shows who really controls kings. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. God directs kings' hearts like water flowing in channels. He turns them wherever he wants. Chapter 22 verse 11 tells how to gain access to kings. He that loveth pureness of heart, for the grace of his lips the king shall be his friend. Love purity, speak with grace. The king will befriend you. Chapter 16 verse 14 already warned about the king's wrath being like messengers of death. Now verse 15 shows the opposite. His favor brings life like rain. This is the reality of royal courts. One wrong word can end you. One right word can save you. Chapter 16 verse 8 establishes the first principle. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. A small amount gained honestly beats massive wealth gained wrong. Verse 16 continues, how much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver. Wisdom surpasses gold. Understanding beats silver. Verse 19 gives another comparison. Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. Being humble with poor people beats sharing stolen goods with proud people. Verse 32 praises patience. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Controlling your temper beats being a warrior. Ruling yourself beats conquering cities. Chapter 17 verse 1 returns to the theme of peace over plenty. Better is a dry morsel, and quietness therewith, than an house full of sacrifices with strife. A dry piece of bread with peace beats a house full of feasts with fighting. Verse 10 shows how different people receive correction. A reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. One word of correction goes deeper into a wise person than 100 beatings into a fool. Verse 12 uses a shocking image. Let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man, rather than a fool in his folly. You'd rather meet an angry mother bear than a fool acting foolish. Chapter 19 verse 1 compares poverty and perversion. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips, and is a fool. Being poor with integrity beats being rich with twisted speech. Verse 22 reveals what people really desire. The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. What people actually want is kindness. A poor, honest person beats a rich liar. Chapter 21 verse 9 describes bad living situations. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. Living in a tiny corner on the roof beats sharing a mansion with a fighting woman. Verse 19 repeats the idea. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. Living in the desert alone beats living with an angry, arguing woman. These aren't just sayings. They're choosing peace over comfort, character over wealth, wisdom over power. Chapter 11 verse 24 introduced this paradox in the previous section. But chapter 19 verse 17 reveals something stunning. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again. When you give to the poor, you're lending to God, and God promises to pay you back. This isn't verse 13 warns about ignoring the poor. Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard. Ignore the poor when they cry, and no one will hear you when you cry. Chapter 22 verse 9 describes the generous person. He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor. A generous eye brings blessing. Sharing your food brings favor. Verse 16 shows two wrong approaches to wealth. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. Oppress the poor to get rich. You'll end up poor. Give gifts to rich people? Same result, poverty. Chapter 11 verse 25 explained the principle. The liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that watereth shall be watered also himself. Generous people prosper. Those who refresh others get refreshed. This seems backwards. Give away money and get more? Yes, that's exactly what it says. The principle operates on a level beyond normal economics. It's embedded in how God designed the world to work. Chapter 17, verse 9, addresses how to maintain friendships. He that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. Cover an offense, build love. Keep bringing it up, destroy friendship. Verse 17 defines real friendship. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Friends love constantly. Brothers exist for tough times. Chapter 18, verse 19, reveals how hard it is to restore broken relationships. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. Offend a brother, and winning him back is harder than conquering a fortified city. Arguments become like iron bars. Verse 24 distinguishes types of friends. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. To have friends, be friendly. But some friends become closer than blood relatives. Chapter 19, verse 4, shows how wealth affects friendships. Wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. Money attracts people. Poverty drives them away. Verse 6 expands on this. Many will entreat the favor of the prince, and every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts. Everyone wants to be friends with generous people and powerful people. Verse 7 describes the poor person's isolation. All the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting to him. Even the poor person's family hates him. His friends disappear. He chases them with words, but they're gone. This is harsh, but real. Chapter 22, verse 24 warns about choosing friends. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go. Don't befriend angry people. Don't walk with furious people. Verse 25 explains why. Lest thou learn his ways, and get a snare to thy soul. You'll learn their ways and trap yourself. Chapter 27, verse 6 gives a surprising truth. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. A friend's wounds are trustworthy. An enemy's kisses are lies. Real friends hurt you with truth. Enemies flatter you with lies. Verse 9 describes what makes friendship sweet. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart. So doth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Perfume makes the heart glad. So does honest advice from a friend. Verse 10 warns against abandoning old friendships. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not. Neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity. For better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. Don't abandon your friend or your father's friend. When trouble comes, a nearby neighbor helps more than a distant brother. Verse 17 shows how people sharpen each other. Iron sharpeneth iron. So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Iron sharpens iron. People sharpen people. Friends make each other better. Chapter 19, verse 15 describes what laziness produces. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. Laziness puts you into deep sleep. Idleness brings hunger. Verse 24 paints a ridiculous picture. A slothful man hideth his hand in his bosom, and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. The sluggard puts his hand in the dish, but won't lift it to his mouth. He's too lazy even to feed himself. Chapter 20, verse 4 shows the sluggard's poor timing. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing. He won't plow in cold weather. So when harvest comes, he begs and has nothing. Verse 13 warns, love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. Open thine eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. Love sleeping. Get poor, stay awake and work. Have bread. Chapter 21, verse 25, reveals the sluggard's strange situation. The desire of the slothful killeth him, for his hands refuse to labor. He wants things. He desires things, but his hands won't work. So his own desires kill him. Chapter 22, verse 13, shows the excuses lazy people make. The slothful man saith, "There is a lion without, I shall be slain in the streets." He claims there's a lion outside. He'll be killed in the streets. It's an absurd excuse to avoid work. Chapter 26, verse 13, repeats this excuse. The slothful man saith, "There is a lion in the way." A lion is in the streets, still claiming there's a lion, still not working. Verse 14 gives another image. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doth the slothful upon his bed. A door swings on hinges. A sluggard turns over in bed. Back and forth, never going anywhere. Verse 15 returns to the image from chapter 19. The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom. It grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. He puts his hand in the dish, but lifting it to his mouth is too much work. It grieves him. It's too hard. Verse 16 shows the sluggard's delusion. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. He thinks he's smarter than 7 wise men. This is the final stage, complete self-deception. Chapter 20, verse 1 opens with a warning. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. Wine mocks you. Strong drink rages. Anyone fooled by alcohol isn't wise. Chapter 21, verse 17 connects drinking to poverty. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich. Love pleasure. Stay poor. Love wine? Never get rich. Chapter 23 brings the fullest warning. Verses 29 and 30 ask searching questions. Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine. They that go to seek mixed wine. Who has all these problems? Those who stay long at the wine? Those who look for mixed drinks? Verses 31 and 32 describe the trap. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his colour in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Don't look at wine when it's red and sparkling, when it looks appealing in the cup, because at the end it bites like a snake and stings like a viper. Verses 33 through 35 describe what happens to the drunk person. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. You see strange things. You say perverse things. You feel like you're lying in the middle of the ocean or on top of a ship's mast. People hit you, but you don't feel it. And when you wake up, you just want more. This is addiction described 3,000 years ago. The loss of control, the physical consequences, the inability to stop even when it's destroying you. Chapter 22, verse 17 introduces a new section. Bow down thine ear, and hear the words of the wise, and apply thine heart unto my knowledge. Listen carefully. Apply your heart. Verse 18 explains why. For it is a pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee. They shall withal be fitted in thy lips. These words are pleasant when you keep them inside. They'll be ready on your lips when needed. Verses 19 through 21 state the purpose, that thy trust may be in the Lord. I have made known to thee this day, even to thee. Have not I written to thee excellent things in counsels and knowledge, that I might make thee know the certainty of the words of truth, that thou might answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee. This is about trust in the Lord, about knowing truth with certainty, about being able to answer with truth. Then the sayings begin. Verses 22 and 23 warn against oppressing the poor. Rob not the poor, because he is poor. Neither oppress the afflicted in the gate, for the Lord will plead their cause, and spoil the soul of those that spoiled them. Don't rob poor people just because they're poor. Don't oppress hurting people. God will fight for them and destroy those who destroyed them. Verses 24 and 25 warn about angry friends. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. Already mentioned, but worth repeating. Stay away from angry people or you'll become like them. Verses 26 and 27 warn about financial guarantees. Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureties for debts. If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee? Don't guarantee other people's debts. If you can't pay, they'll take your bed. Verse 28 addresses property boundaries. Remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. Don't move old boundary markers. Respect what previous generations established. Chapter 23 continues these concentrated sayings through verse 35. Each one a complete lesson in just a few words. Chapter 22 verse 6 gives the famous instruction, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Train children right. When they're old, they'll stay on that path. Verse 15 addresses foolishness in children. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Children naturally have foolishness tied up in their hearts. Correction drives it out. Chapter 23 verse 12 urges applying discipline. Apply thine heart unto instruction, and thine ears to the words of knowledge. This works both ways. Parents should instruct, children should listen. Verse 13 addresses correction directly. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Don't hold back correction. Discipline won't kill them. Verse 14 shows the real purpose. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell. Physical discipline saves their soul from hell. This isn't about anger or abuse. It's about love that corrects before it's too late. Verses 15 and 16 express the Father's hope. My son, if thine heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. Yea, my reins shall rejoice when thy lips speak right things. When children become wise, parents rejoice. When they speak truth, parents celebrate. Verses 19 through 21 give direct commands. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Be not among winebibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Listen, be wise, stay away from drunks and gluttons. They'll end up poor and dressed in rags. Verses 22 through 25 address parents with respect. Hearken unto thy father that begat thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. Buy the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom and instruction and understanding. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begetteth a wise child shall have joy of him. Thy father and thy mother shall be glad, and she that bare thee shall rejoice. Listen to your father. Don't despise your mother when she's old. Get truth and never sell it. Get wisdom, instruction, understanding. Make your parents glad. Verses 26 and 27 plead for attention. My son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. Give me your heart. Watch how I live, because sexual sin is a pit you can't escape. Chapter 24 verse 5 establishes a surprising truth. A wise man is strong. Yea, a man of knowledge increaseth strength. Wisdom creates strength. Knowledge increases it. This isn't about muscles. It's about something more powerful. Verse 6 explains how battles are actually won. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety. You make war through wise counsel. Safety comes from many advisors. This overturns everything people assume about war. It's not about who has the biggest army or the strongest soldiers. It's about who thinks better, who plans smarter, who gets the right advice. Chapter 21 verse 22 already hinted at this. A wise man scaleth the city of the mighty, and casteth down the strength of the confidence thereof. One wise person can climb into a mighty city and destroy what they trust in. Wisdom defeats strength. Chapter 20 verse 18 showed the principle. Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. Plans succeed through counsel. Wars are won through good advice. This applies everywhere: business, relationships, life decisions. Strategic thinking beats brute force every time. Chapter 25, verse 1, introduces a new section. These are also Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out. King Hezekiah's officials collected more of Solomon's Proverbs. This happened hundreds of years after Solomon died. His wisdom was so valuable, they kept searching for more. Verse 2 opens with God and kings. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. God's glory is in hiding things. A king's honor is in finding them. God conceals mysteries. Kings investigate them. Both bring glory, but in opposite ways. Verse 3 describes royal mystery, the heaven for height, and the earth for depth, and the heart of kings is unsearchable. You can't measure the height of heaven or the depth of earth. You can't search out what's in a king's heart. Verse 4 uses a metallurgy image. Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finer. Remove impurities from silver, and the metal worker can make something valuable. Verse 5 applies this to government. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. Remove wicked people from the king's presence, and his throne stands firm through righteousness. Verses 6 and 7 give advice for approaching royalty. Put not forth thyself in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men. For better it is that it be said unto thee, Come up hither, than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince, whom thine eyes have seen. Don't promote yourself before the king. Don't stand where great people stand. Better to be invited up than pushed down. Verse 11 describes perfectly timed words. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver. The right word at the right time is like gold apples in silver settings. Beautiful and valuable. Verse 12 shows the value of correction. As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. A wise person correcting someone who listens is like gold jewelry, precious and attractive. Chapter 25, verse 27 warns about self-promotion. It is not good to eat much honey, so for men to search their own glory is not glory. Too much honey makes you sick. Searching for your own glory isn't glorious. Chapter 27, verse 2 makes it explicit. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth. A stranger, and not thine own lips. Let others praise you, not your own mouth. A stranger, not your own lips. Verse 21 describes a strange way to defeat enemies. If thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat. And if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. For thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head, and the Lord shall reward thee. Feed your enemy, give him water. This puts burning coals on his head, and God rewards you for it. This is warfare through kindness. Chapter 26, verse 28, reveals what flattery really does. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. A lying tongue hates the people it hurts. A flattering mouth creates destruction. Flattery isn't kindness, it's a weapon. Chapter 27, verse 5 contrasts open rebuke with hidden love. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Better to correct someone openly than to love them secretly without helping them. Verse 14 shows how blessing can become cursing. He that blesseth his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. Bless your friend too loudly too early, and it becomes a curse. Even good things done wrong become bad. Chapter 28, verse 23, confirms the value of honest correction. He that rebuketh a man afterwards shall find more favor than he that flattereth with the tongue. Rebuke someone, and you'll eventually find more favor than if you flattered them. Chapter 29, verse 5 warns directly, a man that flattereth his neighbor spreadeth a net for his feet. Flattery is a trap. You're spreading a net for someone to fall into. Chapter 24, verses 30 through 34, tell a story about observation. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. The observer walks past a lazy person's field. Thorns everywhere, weeds covering everything. The wall broken down. He looks carefully and learns a lesson. A little more sleep, and poverty comes like a traveller or an armed man. Chapter 27, verse 23 urges careful management. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. Know your flock's condition. Watch your herds carefully. Verse 24 explains why. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation. Wealth doesn't last forever. Crowns don't pass automatically to every generation. Verses 25 through 27 describe agricultural cycles. The hay appeareth, and the tender grass sheweth itself, and herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And thou shalt have goat's milk enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance for thy maidens. Hay appears, grass grows, mountain herbs get gathered, lambs provide clothing, goats buy fields. Goat milk feeds your household and servants. This is practical wisdom about managing resources. Chapter 28, verse 19 returns to the basic principle. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough. Work your land, have bread. Chase empty people, have poverty. Chapter 30, verse 25 points to small creatures as teachers. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer. Ants aren't strong, but they prepare food in summer. They plan ahead. Chapter 30, verse 1 introduces a new voice, the words of Agur the son of Jakeh, even the prophecy. The man spake unto Ithiel, even unto Ithiel and Ukal. Agur, son of Jakeh, speaks. His words are prophecy. He speaks to Ithiel and Ukal. We don't know who these people are, but we know Agur's words matter. Verses 2 and 3 express profound humility. Surely I am more brutish than any man, and have not the understanding of a man. I neither learnt wisdom, nor have the knowledge of the holy. Agur calls himself more stupid than anyone. He says he doesn't have human understanding. He hasn't learned wisdom or knowledge of holy things. This is stunning honesty. Then he asks questions in verses 4. Who hath ascended up into heaven, or descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fists? Who hath bound the waters in a garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? Who went up to heaven and came down? Who holds wind in his hands? Who wrapped up water in cloth? Who set up the edges of the earth? What's his name? What's his son's name? Can you tell me? These aren't just questions. They point to God's incomprehensible power. Verse 5 confirms Scripture's reliability. Every word of God is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Every word God speaks is pure. He protects those who trust him. Verse 6 warns against adding to God's words. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. Don't add to what God said. He'll correct you and prove you're lying. Then Agur makes a request in verses 7 through 9. 2 things have I required of thee. Deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full, and deny thee, and say, Who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor, and steal, and take the name of my God in vain. 2 things before he dies. Remove lies from him. Give him neither poverty nor riches. Just enough food, why? If he's too full, he might deny God and ask, Who is the Lord? If he's too poor, he might steal and dishonor God's name. He wants the middle path. Chapter 30, verse 15 begins the numerical sayings. The horse leech hath 2 daughters, crying, Give, give. There are 3 things that are never satisfied. Yea, 4 are never satisfied. A leech has 2 daughters crying, "Give, give." Then come 3 things, no 4, that never say enough. Verse 16 lists them: the grave, and the barren womb, the earth that is not filled with water, and the fire that saith not, "It is enough." The grave never stops taking people. A barren womb always wants a child. Dry earth always needs water. Fire never says it has enough fuel. Verses 18 and 19 introduce another pattern. There be 3 things which are too wonderful for me, yea, 4 which I know not. The way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon a rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maid. 4 things too wonderful to understand. An eagle's path through the air, a snake's path on a rock, a ship's path through the sea, a man's way with a woman. All leave no trace. All are mysterious. Verses 21 through 23 list unbearable things. For 3 things the earth is disquieted, and for 4 which it cannot bear. For a servant when he reigneth, and a fool when he is filled with meat. For an odious woman when she is married, and an handmaid that is heir to her mistress. 4 things the earth can't handle. A servant becoming king, a fool who has plenty of food, a hateful woman who gets married, a servant girl who inherits her mistress's place. Verses 24 through 28 point to small, wise creatures. There be 4 things which are little upon the earth, but they are exceeding wise. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer. The conies are but a feeble folk, yet make they their houses in the rocks. The locusts have no king, yet go they forth all of them by bands. The spider taketh hold with her hands, and is in kings' palaces. 4 small things that are very wise. Ants prepare food. Rock badgers build in cliffs. Locusts move in formation without a king. Spiders get into palaces. Verses 29 through 31 describe stately movement. There be 3 things which go well. Yea, 4 are comely in going. A lion which is strongest among beasts, and turneth not away for any. A greyhound, an he-goat also, and a king against whom there is no rising up. 4 things that move well. A lion who doesn't turn from anything. A greyhound. A male goat. A king whose people won't rise against him. Chapter 31 verse 1 introduces another voice. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. King Lemuel speaks, but these are actually his mother's words. A queen mother teaching her son. Verses 2 and 3 begin her instruction. What, my son? And what the son of my womb? And what the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. What should I say, my son? The son I carried, the son I promised to God. Don't give your strength to women. Don't live in ways that destroy kings. Verses 4 and 5 warn about alcohol. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Kings shouldn't drink wine. Princes shouldn't drink strong alcohol. They might forget the law. They might judge wrongly against hurting people. Verses 6 and 7 suggest, who should drink, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. Give alcohol to people about to die. Give wine to people with heavy hearts. Let them drink and forget their poverty and misery. But not kings. Kings need clear minds. Verses 8 and 9 give the king's real job. Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Speak for those who can't speak. Defend those appointed to destruction. Judge righteously, fight for the poor and needy. This is what kings exist for. Chapter 31 verse 10 asks a question. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Who can find a capable wife? She's worth more than rubies. Verse 11 shows her husband's trust. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. Her husband trusts her completely. He doesn't need to take from others. Verse 12 describes her consistency. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She does good for him, not evil, every day of her life. Verses 13 through 19 show her work. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good, her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She works with wool and flax willingly. She brings food from far away like merchant ships. She gets up before dawn to feed her household and servants. She looks at a field, buys it, and plants a vineyard with her earnings. She strengthens herself. She knows her merchandise is good. Her lamp stays lit at night. She works with spindle and distaff. Verses 20 through 27 continue. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor. She reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. She helps the poor and needy. She doesn't fear snow, because everyone has warm clothes. She makes beautiful things for herself, silk and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gates among the elders. She makes linen and sells it. She sells belts to merchants. She wears strength and honor. She'll rejoice in the future. She speaks with wisdom. Kindness is in her words. She watches over her household. She doesn't eat the bread of laziness. Verses 28 through 31 conclude, her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Her children call her blessed. Her husband praises her. Many women do well, but she surpasses them all. Charm is deceptive, beauty is empty. But a woman who fears the Lord deserves praise. Give her the reward she earned. Let her work speak for her publicly. If this journey through Proverbs opened your eyes to something you'd never seen before, do two things. First, hit that subscribe button. We're breaking down the Bible in ways that make ancient wisdom come alive for today. Second, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. A friend making hard decisions. A family member at a crossroads. Someone who thinks the Bible is boring. Show them that God's word is sharper, clearer, and more relevant than they ever imagined. Wisdom is still calling.